Welcome back to another V-Rising video. This is going to be part one of a new series, or at least an ongoing series, that will be essentially me getting good or getting better at PvP. Now, I won't say that I am like some amazing PvP god, but I will say that on average I do pretty good. However, I started to notice recently that I'm very rusty when it comes to PvP. Whenever V-Rising first came out, I was doing really well. I played basically nothing but PvP servers, very active PvP servers. But since the player base slowly died off, and since I started doing videos for like guides and whatnot, I wasn't really getting as much PvP as I wanted to. So my goal for this series is essentially just going to be me showing and breaking down my PvP journey, getting a little bit better slowly but surely. There's a lot to learn in this game, and I haven't even begun to crack the surface. So this video, I'm just going to show my journey in learning how to deal with a particularly tricky mechanic, and that is the mosquitoes. Personally, honestly, this fight right here, or these duels that I had with this guy here, Silai, was very educational. There's a lot to work on in my gameplay. And basically, he had his whole setup down very well. So essentially what he's using Mosquito here, as well as Ice Lance with quick cast, or the reduced cast time. So he's able to essentially just CC chain me into oblivion. And while he doesn't have a defensive ability to, to defend against any of my attacks here, you'll notice that I'm going to show you exactly the issues I was struggling with until, I was able to eventually learn how to deal with it. So you can see Ice Lance just has a really far range there. I'm using Wraith Spear and Mist Trance, as well as Veil of Illusion. These are three of my favorite abilities. I just wanted to use something fun. And so you can see as I'm trying to kind of like figure out how to deal with this, simply because it's kind of a tricky combination to deal with. And so he's using Veil of Blood as well for sustain. These mosquitoes, the damage AoE for them is just kind of ridiculous. And then the range of Ice Lance is super crazy too. You'll see that plenty in this video here. And so I wasn't really sure what to do to deal with them. And then I just start getting destroyed. He combos me into that. And luckily he missed the spear Q. But you'll see, like, I'm not really sure what to do. I kind of would pop counter, assuming he would try to go for me, but really he was just being patient, playing his setup very, very well. I hit him with the ult, managed to tag him with the ult there, and then I get feared anyway. And again, this is just, I was absolutely completely unfamiliar with just how much range it had, so you can see me just taking down there. So I decided, let's swap off Mist Trance. We're going to go to Bloodright, because I really like Bloodright. Again, I'm not trying to say that any of this is like a meta build. I have no really desire to show meta builds at this point. I really just want to... my goal is basically just to get good with moves that I like, as well as moves that I use whenever I am in open world PvP. So, you've seen... open world games anyway. So you've obviously seen me play a lot with Bloodright. So you'll see that a lot. So again, you can see the range there. I did a full Q out with Axe Q, and it still was not enough range. I was kind of like kind of shocked that it actually would reach that far, and it was very confusing. So again, here I didn't know what to do, so I'm kind of just like trying to get away with Wraith Spear, and he would just get one fear, go into an Ice Lance, and then hit me with axes, and then into Spear Q. And so the problem here as well is I'm giving him a lot of range and a lot of space, because I was really just like, I didn't really know what to do essentially against the mosquito. I just felt like I needed more space to work with. But the problem is the build he's using capitalizes a lot on space. Look at the range on this Ice Lance. I mean, are you serious? That's insane. Like, that's so far. And so the more range I give him, the more he can like use that. So here's a fear from one mosquito into another one into an Ice Lance. So you see, that's just with skill, just with his abilities. And then if you break the mosquito, as you saw there, it will happen again. If you break it with melee, it will fear you again. I'm trying to get away, and look at that. So that was another thing he would do, is he would call my dash out, and he would just freeze me. So here I went back to Mistrance, decided I was going to try to get a little bit closer to him, but with pistols he can just kite really easily. And just look at the range on this. I mean, that is just kind of insane, honestly. And he even messed up, I guess I was out of the CC in time before he could get his spear Q off, but yeah, definitely brutal. And I'm trying to figure out what to do, like use a mace to close the gap, get in here. This specific build that I'm using just wasn't really good enough, and so even though he took me down, just wasn't really working out for me. So at this point, swap back to blood counter, and I said, I'm just gonna go blood right and chaos volley. I swapped my ult up just to try to be tricky. I was like, I wonder if I can like catch him out with something silly. Just a lot of times I was just kind of messing around. So here I'm using blood right with invisibility when I counter it. And trying to get a little bit, like, stay in the sweet spot here. Also, I like to use axes. So I'm using axes in this. I'm not really feeling comfortable with my weapon swaps. And also something I definitely learned here. Here comes the ult. You can just see the damage that did. I mean, it does a pretty solid amount of damage, honestly. Like, if he doesn't have anything to get away from it, it's pretty brutal. But then I'm assuming he's going to hit me again. That was just me falling for the mosquitoes over and over and over and over again. Very annoying. And even though in this specific fight, I managed to kind of get it a little bit closer. Just look at that fear range. I mean, that's a full axe Q out of the way. It's still hitting me. It was becoming very frustrating at that point. I was like, what? Like, how is that even a thing? It was very annoying. But, and also, even though I had a lead here on HP, all I needed to do was get, like, one good confirm. I kind of started to, not necessarily panic, but, like, be a little bit too careless because I thought, okay, I just have to play it smart and just hit him with one thing. But he was playing really, really intelligently here. And then for some reason, I ended up on sword. I was like, maybe I'll use sword to, like, gap close. But then it didn't matter because this happened. And, of course, he hits me with the one combo, and I'm dead from, like, a third HP. Basically just dead instantly. And so went back to Mistrance here. Wanted to try a little bit more. Try to figure it out a little bit more. And so it was nice to be able to use Mistrance to try to gap close a little bit. And we get feared anyway. Again, like I said, it was just me figuring out all of this. You can just see how much damage potential this whole thing has. I'm getting absolutely roasted here. But we managed to actually kind of pull it back a little, even though I'm such a, this is why it's important to never give up in a fight. Because, honestly, this is a silly little ult there. But I was like, I'll use it before I die. But it managed to get me out of that. And you can see why we don't want to give up in a fight here, because you never know what you're going to be able to pull back here. Definitely, one hit away. And right here, that could have been a trade if I would have just hit my mace E instantly. But I was just like, whoa, wait. And yeah. So from there, I just kept using Mistrance because, again, like I said, I really enjoy it. And here is where he actually, I believe this is where Silai, the guy I'm fighting against, I was talking to him and he was like, hey, listen, what you want to do is just hit the thing away. Like, use your weapon abilities to get rid of it. And obviously that seems probably pretty obvious to a lot of people. But for some reason for me, I just really, personally, I think that's kind of dumb that you have to use a weapon skill to get away from a summon, like a targeted summon. It just was really annoying. Like, what's it called? The Death Knight isn't too bad. I don't mind that thing because it's like not too difficult to deal with. Because if you get hit by it, it's like, oh, it does damage and it condemns you. But the mosquito is just so silly. So you can see here, I'm using Reaper mostly. Again, like I said, I'm not feeling comfortable with my weapon swaps. Turns out the reason why eventually I figured it out was just because in this fight here, actually, was whenever I realized, in this matchup, was when I realized that my weapons were on the wrong keys. I was just setting up on terrible keys. And here I am just getting absolutely destroyed. And there you go. But you can see I was dealing with the mosquito a little bit better. So after a few more rounds of learning, I finally was able to have a somewhat decent showing here, dealing with this setup here. And it was actually, you know, as frustrating as it was nice. It was nice to be able to, like, I don't know, see the progress in one play session, just like dealing with the problem, the thing that I was struggling with here. Still going to critique the stuff I'm doing, though, because I still make plenty of mistakes. I mean, look at that fear range. Is just absolutely crazy. Getting hit by a crossbow. He's just using all the range he possibly can to keep me at bay. So I keep using the Reaper to hit it away. You can see the second I use my Reaper Q, he goes for Ice Lance because he knows I'm stationary for just half a second. So he's trying to hit me with a mosquito, and then... He's trying to hit me with the mosquito, and then, and then hit me with the Ice Lance whenever I press Q to knock the mosquito away. So yeah, I'm doing really well here. Definitely another issue I was having troubles with was just my ulting. Look at this. I ult it, and I still got feared out of it, but then he hits me. He's like, oh, cool, he got feared out of the ult. So he's able to do that much damage, immediately equalize, for the most part. I'm doing really well here. Remembering to knock it away, dodging Ice Lance, and doing okay so far. Again, he's just trying to keep that range. I'm walking into these crossbow cues, knocking away the mosquito, and he's lower, a little bit lower than me, but I'm like, yeah, see, right there, got hit again. I'm like 1 CC chain away from dying, is what I knew, and don't really have any CC on this build, so it was definitely getting very spooky. So hitting one right there, he hits me with that, hits me with the axes. That was obviously very nerve-wracking. We're pretty much even here. Knock him away. Just trying to go for, like, just find that one little bit of poke. Use mistrance to take him away. Hit him with the one, almost hit him with the second one. Barely dodge the mosquito. And like I said, we are right here neck and neck. So I decided, okay, I gotta approach him, but then he can just block me with the mosquito. Almost hit him with the Chaos Volley, get sniped with the Ice Lance, get the counter off. We're both at 1 HP basically. And so I want to kind of close that gap and see what I can do. And there you go. So yeah, very frustrating. You know, I'm like, just getting losing that much of a lead was very frustrating. So we are going to go into another matchup here, just showing him a little bit more what I'm learning. He's using pistols a lot here. And so obviously the goal here, like I said, I'm like learning things. I'm trying to like bait stuff out now. Getting hit by fear is never fun because then he just full combos me like this. Luckily missed the spear, but yeah, very frustrating. Reaper it away. We like that. So the free casts on this build I really, really like with Illusion, with a Mistrance as well as Veil of Illusion. So I'm trying here to just try to like, I try to do a little bit of like mix-ups, if that makes sense. Like essentially catch him with like, you know, I throw something out, like maybe I try to hit with my Q or toss my Q out so he uses Mosquito like this. And we're trying to do a lot of dodging at the same time. Just clip him a little bit with that Reaper, knock it away, and here comes the freeze. Here comes the axes. Here comes the spear. So I'm down a lot here, but it's not completely unsalvageable. Going for a little bit of axes. Again, I'm trying to just find... I'm trying to find the openings here. Knock the mosquito away. Almost in with the ult. I was just hoping that ult was going to tag him so I could get a little bit of healing off. Definitely a bad ult, though. And here comes the crossbow, because he realized that I was just holding that, like kind of holding that little sweet spot where it was hard for him to hit me with pistols, so he swapped to crossbow, and that's what the reward was there. He spent a little bit too much time with that out. I did a little bit of damage, kind of equalized here, right there with the Chaos Volley. We're getting really close to neck and neck. Missed the counter. He's going for the crossbow moves. Now he's down to about 1.5 small hits, depending on what I hit him with. Very close here. And the next part happens very quickly. So he freezes me, stuns me, and I dodge, throw axes, dash away, and then hit him with a nice crit off the axe Q. So very, very, very lucky winning there. Ended with 1 HP basically. He kind of snuck in and grabbed it at the very end, but it was extremely crazy. So that was I believe that was the last fight I had with that guy. Maybe we fight one more time and I think he might have stomped me, but I just wanted to show essentially what happens after this. This is a different play session. So in here, I didn't know what this guy had, and then I saw the mosquito. Immediately my brain said, oh, switch to Reaper, just because this is like days later. And so because of that training, I felt really confident. Like this guy I had no idea he had mosquitoes. I saw him throw it out and I thought, oh, I can deal with that. I know exactly what to do with that. And so he's using Phantom Aegis and Mosquito. I'm using, again, I'm using Bloodrite and Chaos Volley. So hit him with a little bit of a E into the Chaos Volley there. And another one of the combos I've been enjoying, which that was, unfortunately I missed that there. One of the combos I've been enjoying here as well, I've actually started using Greatsword a lot more since that last fight here. Is simply because the stealth that you get off Bloodrite, or that you can get off of Bloodrite into the Greatsword Q, apparently you cannot see the actual charge itself. So if you apparently you can, I think you can hear it, but you can't see it. And so I was kind of taking advantage of that, just like trying to get as much of that, take advantage of that as possible can, be sneaky as possible with these very basic abilities. Terrible ult, almost got him, but terrible ult. And another thing about the Greatsword that's super nice, you've probably seen in this fight so far, is just the fact that you can use E to get those iframes is super nice in situations like this, where you just like you just are really, trying to not get owned. You want to dodge some stuff. There we go. So also, blood counter and going invisible, making it so the mosquito can't find you is super nice. I did a little wall bounce there with the slashers into a stun, but I didn't have anything to follow it up with, so I just had to use a spell. And swap to get distance and swap to pistols here because we were just a little bit too far out. Keep poking. Phantom Aegis obviously makes his effective life pool just so much bigger than mine. Go invisible and Greatsword. You can see right there. He had no idea what was happening. I go invisible and then I hit him with the Greatsword. I do it many times. It's actually really fun. Go for that counter. Kind of just throwing it out at willy-nilly, which is pretty bad. I'm gonna get feared here. He totally misjudges the timing on that. I hit him with some axes. Hit him with a Q. Greatsword Q just does so much damage. Invisibility, again, super nice. Oh, almost hit me with that. Almost hit him with the stun there. Go invisible. Hit him with a couple Chaos Volleys. Hit him with 2 Chaos Volleys, actually. Gets feared, but he couldn't react in time. And we tagged him with the pistol E, and there it goes. Okay, this is the, I think this is the second fight we had. I think we only did like 2 fights. So, all right. And so he's popping blood, and he's getting going here. All right, so using counter to counter off of his Veil of Illusion is also super nice. Just having that free counter kind of on demand whenever he uses his dash is just super useful to get away from these mosquitoes whenever we need to. Try to land the Reaper E on him real quick there and get a little bit a pop up, jump, press E to dodge it. He ults, misses completely. And again, this is why my ults are trash. I just need to start working on it more, really pay attention to what the other guy's using. But you can see making up for it with dodging a lot of his damage with the well-timed Greatsword E's right there again. I mean, you can see how many of these things I'm dodging with it. It's just such a nice thing to be able to do. So I'll put the pistols real quick. I'm trying to get a little bit of damage there, but just the range is a little too crazy. Get double feared, but he has nothing to follow up with it. It's funny, as I'm seeing this, as I was dealing with this, I was kind of like, I remembered that those fights with Sili, and I was like, dude, you have nothing to confirm your mosquito fear. Like Sili was using Ice Lance so he could confirm off of it. And I'm not saying this guy's like, I'm not saying that this guy can't be doing better with what he has. Absolutely, he can be. What I am saying is, it was interesting because every time he would get a fear, he kind of would like not really know what to do. All right, we can tag him with a little bit of a pistol E. I take a bunch of damage there, but I hit him back. I punish him back with Chaos Volley. That Phantom Egg is just so much health. And we get the counter off. There we go. Get a little bit of the Reaper E. Tag him with the Chaos Volley. Almost finish him with the Chaos Volley there. And I decided just to go after him here. And hit him with the E. He's at 1 HP now. I wasn't sure what to get, so I just swapped to pistols. And we had him here with the E. So, yep. So there you have it. That's just going to be it for this video, specifically for this, this part of the PvP series. It's definitely been fun trying to get back into the swing of things and get better than I was. So using a bunch of different weapons. The dojo is just great. So if you haven't been to the dojo, it's absolutely amazing. They actually also just recently updated the ability to get essentially any jewel that you want for any spell, and it'll be maxed out essentially. So like, if you've always wondered what it'd be like to use like the best jewels possible with a specific spell or spell combination, well then you can do that very easily in the dojo. So highly recommend you go there. But anyway, that is going to be it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And we will catch you in the next one.